Boeing has been roiled in controversy ever since the door flew off one of its planes while it was in the air. Imagine that. So in this video, I'm going to look at Boeing, look at the business, look at how the stock price has reacted to these negative news highlights, and determine where I think Boeing stock could be in 1 year. So let's jump in. Let's take a look at these details.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
I mentioned that Boeing stock has been under pressure, and you can see this turnaround here. After reaching heights above $250 per share, it has come crashing down closer to $209 per share. I'm going to use this price to use with my stock price forecast and prediction for Boeing stock at the end of the year. I also need Boeing's price to free cash flow. Currently, it's trading at a price to free cash flow of 27.43. Importantly, I'm going to highlight why I think using price to free cash flow is the more informative metric for Boeing. Because the company's earnings per share fluctuates positive, negative, it's less informative than looking at the company's price to free cash flow. Additionally, the company has significant depreciation expense and other non-cash expenses that make it unworthwhile to look at the earnings sometimes and more informative to look at the cash flow. So that's what I'm going to do in this video is look at the cash flow valuation. So with that said, let's look at what Wall Street thinks Boeing will deliver in terms of free cash flow in 2024. And according to Wall Street estimates, they think that Boeing will deliver free cash flow of $10.23 in 2024. $10.23. That's a significant improvement from the $5.10 expected in free cash flow in 2023. So Boeing is expected to increase free cash flow meaningfully in 2024. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. The free cash flow number is the $9.38 figure, not the $10.23 figure. That's the operating cash flow. Free cash flow is a little bit different than operating cash flow in that it incorporates capital expenditures, which is a significant expense for Boeing in that building airplanes is very capital intensive and the manufacturing requires significant capital investments. Okay, so now that we've had the estimates from Boeing, we can now take a look at the valuation estimate, the stock price prediction for Boeing in 2024. So if the company does deliver free cash flow of $9.38 in 2024, and the price to free cash flow multiple stays the same at 27.43, then the stock price could increase to $257 per share by the end of the year. Now, if you consider that the stock price is currently trading at $209 per share, that would be a nice increase of roughly $50 per share or 25%. For a stock like Boeing, that's a nice increase. Still, it could be even higher. If the price to free cash flow increases to 35, the stock price could rise to 328. If the price to free cash flow rises to 40, the stock price could increase to $375 per share, nearly doubling from where it's at today. However, if things get worse and there's more trouble for Boeing and the price to free cash flow falls to 20, the stock price could fall to $187 per share. There's a lot that could go wrong for Boeing. However, the one mainstay for the company and the one reason why many investors are attracted to Boeing stock is because they have a significant backlog of orders. $441 billion in backlog for commercial airplanes. And in its most latest quarter, they secured 611 net orders. That's more than a year's worth of delivery for Boeing. In its latest quarter, it delivered 157 airplanes. So it secured 611 orders and delivered 157. So the backlog only increased. And that's just the commercial airline segment. Its defense segment has a backlog of $59 billion. So when you combine these two, it has a backlog of $500 billion. So it's got revenue going out several years into the future. Investors like the way that feels, to know that the company that they're investing in has a backlog of orders of several years into the future. Customers are waiting in line to get Boeing's products, to get Boeing's planes and defense products. Even if the recent trouble causes difficulty for Boeing, it's unlikely that very many customers are going to cancel their orders. And the reason for that is because they don't want to go to the back of the line again, right? If you've been waiting 3-4 years in line to get your commercial airplane from Boeing, all of a sudden this difficulty arises. Are you going to cancel your order and then go to the back of the line where you're going to have to wait another 7, 8, 9 years for the planes? Or are you just going to wait it out and see what happens and see if this whole thing gets fixed and resolved before it's your turn to receive the planes? I think it's more likely that customers are going to stick around and they're not going to cancel the orders because there's such a limited supply, there's limited competition here, and they're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Now, some might cancel, but I think the majority of customers are going to keep their orders, they're not going to cancel, and Boeing's backlog continues to grow. So I've highlighted 4 scenarios for Boeing stock price, ones that range from $187 per share all the way up to $257 per share. But which scenario do I think is the most likely scenario for Boeing stock? I would say something between the $257 and $187. I would say, if I had to guess, my prediction, my Boeing stock forecast for 2024 is that Boeing stock price will be somewhere in the range of $235 per share and $265 per share. Now, a lot could go wrong with this prediction given how volatile Boeing stock has been of late and given the open investigations and the risks with the recent developments in the quality of the build of the aircraft. There could be big risks to the downside. That said, we saw the strong backlog of orders and the unlikelihood of customers canceling those orders unless there's something really systemically wrong here. So my best prediction, between $235 per share and $265 per share for Boeing stock in 2024. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.